G'day, it's Brak here with the first episode of 5 where I am going to convince you that DeathSkulls are the best. Now with episode 1 we are talking about clan cultures and it's coming up very, very shortly. Change my mind. I dare ya. And welcome to the first episode of 5 separate videos in which we look at 5 different aspects of the game to determine which Orc clan is the best. DeathSkulls. In this video, we look at the aspect of clan cultures. In episode 2, we will look at clan-specific warlord traits. In episode 3, we will discuss the aspect of specific stratagems. And in part 4, or episode 4, we will inspect clan-specific shiny gubbins. And finally, in part 5, or episode 5, we will mull over the clan-specific psychic abilities from the recently released Saga of the Beast. And then we'll sum up, and then we will be able to determine which clan is ultimately the best. DeathSkulls. To give this discussion some weight, I will be assessing each aspect mentioned before using the following criteria. These are: 1. Who does it benefit? Does the aspect occur clan-wide or does it only benefit one model? 2. How often can it be used? Can this aspect, the rule of this aspect, be used for the entire game, or can it only be used situationally? Criteria number 3, does the aspect fit with the clan culture? Okay, so what I'm looking for here is, does this aspect actually make sense in regard to the individual clan according to the lore or the fluff? Do you look at the aspect and say, yep, this is so DeathSkulls, or yep, this is so Bad Moons, yep, this is Freebooter, etc. That's what I'm sort of looking for here. And finally, the criteria 4 is, how cool is it? And as always, the rule of cool is always supreme. So I'm going to be giving each clan a score out of 5 for each criteria. So a score of 20 is the best you can get, and I'm going to do this for each aspect, and at the end of the series I will tally all the scores up and we'll finally know which clan is the best. DeathSkulls. Seeing that this is the first video, today I will be looking at the clan cultures, which you can find on page 125 of the Orc Codex. I am going to be looking at each clan, discussing what that clan culture gives the clan and giving it a score based on the 4 criteria I mentioned above. Okay, when I'm going to be talking about individual units here, I won't be discussing anything with the Gretchen keyword, as they do not benefit from any clan culture, much to my sadness. Goths, no mucking about. Goth orcs are the biggest, meanest and ferocious of their kind. They put little stock in cunning or strategy, preferring instead to simply surge across the battlefield in a roaring green tide. Once they get stuck into hand-to-hand combat, the Goths quickly overwhelm their enemies by dint of sheer violent ferocity. Okay, here's the actual rule. Each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of 6 for an attack with a melee weapon made by a model with this culture, immediately make an additional hit roll against the same target using the same weapon. These additional hit rolls cannot themselves generate any further hit rolls. What this rule basically does is it gives Goths Daka to melee weapons in the assault phase. This rule has the ability to turn a good assault unit into a great assault unit. This is nothing to sneeze at. Criteria 1. Who does it benefit? Well, any unit which has a melee weapon. Goth armies tend to be boy, nob and storm boy heavy. These units do well with this rule. Very, very well. The only units that don't benefit are possibly the flyers. So for this reason, I'm giving them a 4.7 out of 5. Criteria 2. How often can it be used? Well, obviously, it is really only useful in both fight phases. So for this reason, I will give it a 3 out of 5. Criteria 3. Does it fit with the clan lore? I'd have to say yes. Goths are the brawlers, the berserkers, the one that love a good round of fisticuffs. So I would say they are going to be better at bashing heads than the other clans. So I'm giving them a 5 out of 5. Criteria 4. How cool is it? Oh my god. The idea that once you get a whole lot of boys into the fray and then extra damage is going to be that, if you pardon my French, orky as fuck. So they get another 5 out of 5 for me, giving them a total score of 17.7 out of 20. Bad moons, armed to the teeth. Bad moons are ostentatious show-offs whose predilection for toting about the biggest, loudest and shiniest shooters is facilitated by the fact that their teeth grow with such remarkable speed, with all manner of targeting arrays, underslung bomb launchers, extra ammo feeds, and bandoliers of additional munitions to call their own. Bad moons can typically lay down a storm of Daka that eclipses the firepower of any other clan. The rule. Reroll hits of rolls of 1s for attacks made by models with this culture in the shooting phase. So the idea here is because they are the richest, they can afford to buy the richest guns, which tend to work the best. So on paper this sounds good, but my little bugbear is how come they can't buy the choppiest of choppers as well? But beside that, re-rolls for 1s for shooting combined with Daka is a great combination. Criteria 1, who does it benefit? Well, obviously, anyone who has a gun. There are only 2 units which don't have guns, that being the Weird Boy and the Pain Boy, and they probably don't need them for the shooting phase, because really the Pain Boys, they're meant to be fixing characters at that time, and the Weird Boy has their own special phase for their shenanigans. So they really shouldn't be complaining about if they don't get a gun or not. Sure, there are some units which you can put all melee weapons on, but in the most cases, for a Bad Moon army, you're going to go all shooting. Well, most units will have a shooting weapon or 3. So for this reason, I give them a 5 out of 5. Criteria, how often can it be used? Well, it can only be used in their shooting phase. It can't be used during Overwatch. So for this reason, I give them a 3 out of 5. Criteria 3, does it fit with the clan lore? Heck yeah. You'd expect Yellow Gits to have the best guns, so getting more bang out of your buck teeth makes a lot of sense. However, I do think they've missed a bit of an opportunity here, not being able to get choppier weapons. So for this reason, I'm giving them a score of 4.9 out of 5. Criteria 4, is it cool? So effing cool. What I like about this clan culture is that it allows many opportunities for conversions. So you can put all sorts of guns to match the fact that their guns look the best. I reckon that's great. Okay, so for that reason, I'm giving them a 5 out of 5, thus making the total for Bad Moons a 17.9 out of 20. Evil Sons. Red ones go faster. The Evil Sons are firm believers of the older adage, red ones go faster. Many claim The need for speed is in the blood, and so the orcs of this clan make sure to dab their vehicles themselves and, in especially ambitious cases, even their bullets bright red. Bizarrely, the practice actually seems to work. The rule: add 1 to the move characteristics of models with this culture, adding 2 instead if that model is a speed freak, and add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for them. In addition, models with this culture do not suffer the penalty to their hit rolls for advancing and firing assault weapons. So your bikes and or fast attack vehicles get an extra 2-inch move, plus an extra 1 advance, and a +1 to the charge result. All the other units get the same, but only 1 extra inch for moving. Oh, and you don't get penalised for firing an assault weapon if you had advanced. That's pretty sweet. Criteria 1. Who does it benefit? Well, basically everyone in an Evil Sun's army can benefit from at least one aspect of this rule. So it's a 5 out of 5 for this criteria. Criteria 2. How often can it be used? Most units can benefit from this rule in all phases of your turn. Obviously, you can't benefit in your opponent's turn, like some clan cultures do, so for this reason, I give it a 4.9 out of 5. Criteria 3. Does it fit with the clan lore? Well, not all speed freaks are evil sons, but all evil sons are speed freaks. So it's a 5 out of 5 for this criteria for me. Criteria 4. Is it cool? If you don't like the idea of speeding into an army, well, you possibly should revisit your lifestyle choices. That's another 5 out of 5, giving the Evil Sons a total score of 19.9 out of 20. DeathSkulls, Lucky Blue Gits. All orcs believe blue to be a lucky colour, but the notoriously superstitious DeathSkulls are fervent in that belief. The clan's members are in the habit of daubing themselves literally with blue war paint before every battle, making sure to mark their vehicles with the same colour too. Of course, this habit doubles as a great way of rapidly covering up any marks of previous ownership on wagons, war gear and other loot the light-fingered DeathSkulls have acquired from their fellow orcs. The rule: models with this culture have a 6+ invulnerable save. In addition, you can re-roll a single hit roll, a single wound roll, a single damage roll for each unit with this culture each time it shoots or fights. In addition, infantry units with this culture gain the "This is ours" Zogoth ability, even if they do not have the troops battlefield roll. So basically, the favours of Mork, possibly Gork, shine upon the DeathSkulls because they paint themselves blue. I can and do dig that. Oh, and all infantry have the possibility to steal objectives from their opponent. This is a game changer. Criteria 1. Who does it benefit? Well, every unit, except for Grots of course, benefit from at least 2 aspects from this rule. So it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 2. How often can it be used? Well, you can use this in most of your turn's phases, not psychic of course, plus you can benefit from some aspects in your opponent's phase. For example, you get rerolls, you get invul saves every time you're wounded, and unlike bad moons for shooting, the DeathSkull rerolls do work in Overwatch. This is a beast of a rule, so it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 3. Does this rule fit the clan lore? Having to re-roll 1 dice for different things represents luck really well. Plus the Zogoth It's Mine rule to all infantry does lend itself to the famous looting reputation which DeathSkulls have. So it's another 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 4. Is it cool? You have basically thieving warriors who seem to be favoured by the gods. What is not to love about that? And it's another 5 out of 5 for me, which gives DeathSkulls a perfect score of 20 out of 20 for this clan culture. Snakebites, the old ways. There is no doubting that Snakebites appear somewhat backwards to other orc clans. Their technology base and traditional mindsets rarely advance far past the level of Wild Boys, and if a Snakebite can fix a problem with a big stick, a handy squig and a length of old rope, he will gladly do so. However, between their refusal to rely upon newfangled rubbish and their bizarre habit of actually allowing themselves to be bitten by venomous serpents to prove their toughness, the clan's ways breed remarkably resilient warriors. The rule: roll a dice each time a model with this culture loses a wound. On a 6, the wound is not lost. If a model has a similar ability, e.g. the Super Cyborg, Shiny Gubbins or Ramshackle ability, you can choose which ability to use when a model loses a wound, but you cannot use both. Okay, you get a feel no pain because you get bitten by snakes. Okay, I'll pay that. Criteria 1, who benefits from it? Well, everyone does, even vehicles. Now, this really amuses me. I love the vision of orcs getting snakes to bite their trucks because they will be tougher. It's bizarre, funny as, but bizarre. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 2, how often can it be used? Well, every time a unit gets a wound. So that includes mortal wounds. So that's pretty strong stuff. That's another 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 3, does it fit with the clan rule? Well, kind of, sorta. I do like the idea of orcs being toughened by repetitive snake biting. However, the idea that it somehow works on vehicles doesn't sit with me really well. Sure, strictly a snakebite army should not have a lot of vehicles in it. If any, they're going to have squigoths and things like that. You'd expect to see more of it in a strict fluff way, but it's a little bit different with the rules as they are, and yeah, so but people are going to take trucks regardless, yeah, because that's the way the rules are. Because of this, I'm going to give this a 4.8 out of 5. Criteria 4, is it cool? Being bitten by snakes makes you harder than a teaspoon of cement in your coffee. That's a 5 out of 5 for me. This gives Snakebites a whopping 19.8 out of 20 from me. Blood Axes. Tactics. The Blood Axes are viewed by all other orc clans as being duplicitous, untrustworthy gits who wouldn't know a proper scrap if it came out of the drops and bit off their backsides. The Blood Axes, for their part, couldn't care less. They possess an instinctive grasp of battlefield strategy that, while undeniably orky in their application, allows them to surprise even the most seasoned enemy commanders with their maneuvers, feints, and ambushes. The rule. A unit with this culture gains the benefit of cover even while they are not entirely on or in a terrain feature, if the enemy model making the attack is at least 18 inches away. In addition, units with this culture can shoot or charge, but not both, even if they fell back in the same turn. The sneaky get cover from long distance shooting because they're sneaky. Plus, they can either shoot or charge once they have fallen back. That's because they're sneaky. Criteria 1. Who does it benefit? Well, everyone. This even includes vehicles. I imagine this would represent the Blood Axe driver doing some tic-tacking to avoid incoming firepower, so it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 2. How often can it be used? Well, it is kinda limited. You have one aspect, cover, only helping you in your opponent's shooting phase, but you do have the option to shoot or charge your turn if you have fallen back. It's pretty situational if you survive. I'm going to give it a 2.9 out of 5 for me. Criteria 3. Does this rule fit in with the clan? Yep, I believe it does. The 18-inch is in cover rule does represent units doing some sort of tactics to ensure they get closer to the enemy before getting shot at, and the shooting or charging after falling back, well, that just represents a unit which has trained really well. So that's a 5 out of 5 for me. Criteria 4. Is it cool? I love the idea of a clan of orcs who go outside the norm to win battles, even though they aren't liked by other clans. That's another 5 out of 5 for me. So the Blood Axes clan get a total of 17.9 out of 20. Freebooters, competitive streak. There's something a little off about most freebooters, and all other orcs know it. These mercenary loot hounds are just that bit more mean-spirited, vicious and sneaky, and certainly substantially more egocentric, self-centered and competitive than their fellow greenskins. It's no wonder then that most become outcasts, for they struggle to fit into the rough and ready hierarchy of orc society and operate best when knocking around the galaxy with others of their dubious kind. In battle, the freebooters' desire to be the best and nab the shiniest loot for themselves sees them strive to outdo their fellow greenskins. If one mob of freebooters starts doing well, their comrades will strive all the harder to show them up and grab the glory for themselves. The rule: add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by models with this culture if any other friendly unit with this culture within 24 inches has destroyed an enemy unit this phase. So we have a group of social outcasts who are super competitive and band together because, this confuses me, it's almost as if GW made an extra clan because the fans were expecting it and they were not sure what to do exactly, despite the extensive backstories some freebooters have. To be fair, this does give something for those players who aren't fussed with the other clans, so you have to give GW some credit here. Criteria 1. Who does it benefit? Like all the other clans, every unit, except for Gretchen of course. 5 out of 5 from me. Criteria 2. How often can it be used? So that's every time a unit within 24 inches has destroyed a unit per phase. This is reliant on an enemy unit being destroyed, so it's fairly situational. However, it does have the potential to go off in almost every player phase, even Overwatch. So that's a 3.8 for me. Criteria 3. Does it fit with the clan lore? Sorta, kinda. I really feel they could have done better, as per the reasons above about GW rushing into to please everyone. So I can only give it a 3.9 out of 5. Is it cool? I'm sort of meh. I think they could have done better, but hey, trying to get a rule which just picks competitiveness between units, I think they did it, so it's a 4 out of 5 from me. And this gives the freebooters a total score of 16.7 out of 20. So let's have a look at the big score. Sadly, we have the freebooters coming in the last place at 16.7 points. Then we have the Goths with 17.7 points, trailing both the Bad Moons and the Blood Axes, who both get a score of 17.9. In third place, we see the Snakebites with 19.8, narrowly missing the Evil Sons with a score of 19.9, but outsmarted by the luckiest clan of them all with a perfect score of 2020 is the DeathSkulls. Yay! Well, there you have it. The DeathSkulls are winning. What do you think? Do you agree? Or Are you going to claim biased reporting and fake news? Please leave your comments below, but please, folks, be civil. Next time, I will be discussing clan-specific warlord traits. So until then, if you're going crumpin', remember to bash early and bash often. If you like this video, please like, or you could share it, or subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you do subscribe, press that notification bell so you get to see these videos as soon as I release them. Also, would you like to be social with Brak? Well, then you can go to his Facebook page, his Instagram account, and he has a Twitter account too. There will be links below in the description. If you would like to help Brak financially, then head over to his Patreon page and make a little subscription there, and that way I will be able to make these videos a little bit better.